Hello everybody. As a teacher, I think it's important to kind of practice what I preach. I'm an English literature teacher, and a lot of things are happening all around my students, and I try and help them put those things that are happening into words. Because when I was a teenager, it was what helped me to feel better and feel my own well-being as a person, as a woman, as a teenager. And so my first book, Between Hindsight and Foresight, is subtitled Poems from My Walk, because it's the best of the work that I did from the time I was 14 until right up about 2 years ago, and that's when I met the lovely Dee. And last September I released a second book that was more of a literal walk, because it's a poem that details my trip to Rome in February of 2020, right before lockdown, so my last international trip. So these are the two books that I have released at the moment. Also on my table out there, I have the anthology, which is a bunch of stories from some amazing women about their dealings with lockdown, being in lockdown, being out of lockdown. So what I thought I might share with you today is a poem from my first book entitled Journeys, which I wrote in a coffee shop when I was a teenager. I do my writing a lot of places. I do it in noisy bars and coffee shops and on train platforms and in hotels on trips and things. You can write anywhere. And it really does help the soul to kind of put things into words. And more importantly, it helps other people to read your words, feel that connection, and not feel quite so alone, because we kind of get stuck in that feeling so alone way too often. And I think that my poem Journeys aptly tells that story. Let's see if I can get to the right page. Okay, so Journeys. It's 12 AM, or so the clock bells chime. I'm travelling off again one more time, flying past places I don't remember yet, and past people I have never met. These are fast, old, familiar homes, past old, familiar ways. Some new, old places. Here comes the old newness of good days. I don't know where I'm going, and I don't remember where I've been, so this moment doesn't matter because it's all I've ever seen. Suddenly, it's a clear time to meet anything and everything I've ever dreamed, before the moment passes, and I fear that nothing is as it never seemed. And where I want to be is still not near. So, in a beat, a heartbeat, I move and forget the endless roads refrain. I give the earth and path a shove, and lose whatever was new to gain. Because it's not about the road anymore. To me, the journey is for those beats, where I search internal land, sea and shore for the place where the journey meets, with my life and within my mind. Nothing full has been there, and complete is hard to find. And on the journey, we don't even care. Life is all the moments you often miss. A journey of old remembered things, a song, a house, a word, a first, last kiss, and that clock bell still rings and rings. On the journey, you will meet moments that will scare you. Stop your heart, move your feet, moments that will tear you. But throughout the days, weeks and months, when you won't know what or why, they come to you in nameless fronts, and life is about choosing to journey and try. It's 12 AM, or so the clock bells chime. I'm travelling off again one more time. My choice. How about you? Thank you.
I was raised by the best Irish mum and dad that anyone could wish for, and they had raised 8 of us, 5 girls and 3 boys. But then things started to turn. We lost our dad, then my younger sister, then another sister, then my mum. Cancer is horrific, and the history in my family goes back many years. So for 23 years of my life, I have volunteered with Mary Seeker for the homeless for 10 years this year, 7 years with the community police. For 18 years, I've never stopped helping cancer research. And I do laugh at that because I'm a committee member for cancer research. Then 2018, September the 5th, the day before my birthday, Rita, you have a rare sarcoma cancer. My world fell apart. But I got up and I said to that doctor, this is going to be the best die ever. How wrong was I? Look at me. So I went into London Hospital to start my chemo. 72 hours non-stop every 3 weeks for 5 months. I was put in an end-of-life ward because they messed my room up. I wasn't scared, but the laughter I gave these people was the best gift I could ever give because I knew I would never see them again. Then I had to have a major operation to remove 11.5 centimetre tumour. I've got a scar like the London Underground from the top to the bottom, but they still didn't put me in a bit tighter to make me a size 10. Then I had to have 5 weeks of everyday radiotherapy, which destroyed me. The pain, I cannot tell you how horrific all these treatments have been. But I'm a true born Londoner, and my brother said I should have been the 4th brother because I really was not scared of anything. But I kept thinking, God, if you're going to go and take me, do it in my sleep. But he had enough of my family, and I don't think he's ready to meet me yet. But in my first book, my chapter is called Never Ending Story, because I still have so much to do. My second chapter is You Kept Me Here for a Reason, and I truly believe that. There were so many days I wanted to give up, but then I got involved with Deez, Shelley, and some beautiful, kind people. And I know if I didn't, I would not be here. You all used to say to me, Rita, you're such an inspiration. Well, let me tell you, reading your stories and what some of you have been through, I bow down to you all. We so need more people like you in this world. But did you know, Dee, Shelley and Cecile always used to say to me, we have new people on tonight, Rita, on our Zoom. I wonder why. Is that what comes out of... Is that because what comes out of my mouth? I have fibrosis now. I won't be in remission until 2029. No joke. That will be 9 years. I'm still ongoing treatment. I've never rung the bell. But when I do, it will be a church bell, as I will be ringing for everybody. Thank you all for coming. When I write my book, I think the government will have to agree if it can go on sale. But thank you very much.
What Rita hasn't told you all is she's been fundraising for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
Sorts out all our raffles, anything, anybody in the community. If somebody in the community is poorly, if they need a little bit of help, Rita's there. And she goes and collects masses of stuff and will give to everybody, don't you? Absolutely everybody. Very well known, aren't you?
Yeah, in a good way.
And yeah, I think it's just the stuff that she's always talking about what we do, and she doesn't talk about what she does. And she does loads, absolutely loads for this community.
I'll tell you 2 things just before I go. Sorry. So, when one of my friends asked me would I raise some money for this young woman that I knew. She was only coming up to 40, and it was bringing back such memories of my sister, my younger sister, who was 35, and she left a little boy behind as well. But this person, she reminded me of me, because she really didn't give a flying whatever, because I have to be careful, kids are in it. But within 6 weeks, we'd raised £5,000 so that her husband and her little boy can go and make so many memories and have the greatest whatever time ever. We even done a 40th party for her, even though she didn't drink. And then my friend, whose little girl, who's 6 years old, she's going through treatment now, and we raised £4,000 to help her and her mum and her other little sister, so she could have a great Christmas and everything else. And she's doing well, so that's why I'll never ring the bell, because there's so many people that I know or missed or whatever. I just ain't gonna ring the bell, but I have arranged the church bell. But thank you all very much.
I've got a tissue.
I don't have any words. She's just amazing, absolutely amazing. So what she's mumbling about is she has a bit of a mouth, a bit of a potty mouth, and she likes to use some of them words, which she's not going to use in here. And there's a favourite one, which you know. Yeah, she uses that one.
That's my friend.
That's my friend who uses that word.
Oh,
yes.
But she is going around with the raffle ticket, so if you get her out, she might give you a swear word just in case.
Yeah, if you don't buy one, I will.
She's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bina, as I said earlier. This is the book and the red thread, and you might think, what is all about the red thread? I wrote this book in lockdown, and it was published in May 2021. It's all about my mum's journey, but also about strong women. And I was given a really lovely testimonial from Dr. Amir Khan. Some of you might know of him. He's on TV, and he used to be in GPs behind closed doors, but he also does a lot of nature programs and breakfast programs and so on. He's got a personality. Basically, the book is about my journey as well, and I'll just read out a little bit so you can understand. Bina Briggs, who arrived in the UK as a refugee from Uganda in 1972, shares a series of stories of life lessons of love, strength, determination. The book details resilience, tenderness, kindness, and gratitude. You will find humour, failures, friendships, and successes experienced mainly by women. It's all about all of us, and I think when I started writing the book, I thought it would be just my mum's journey, because in brief, she was married at 15 years of age in India to my dad, and who was much older than her. Then they emigrated to Uganda, East Africa, which was a British colony at the time, and I was born 5 years later, and so on. Now, it's all about also about my mum, who was actually trapped in an abusive marriage, and so it was, it was a case of how can she escape, and in that kind of society you knew that it was quite impossible in those days. But as soon as I was able to understand, we made a decision that Mum, myself and my sister will leave as soon as we could, and however we could. And so when this thing happened with Idi Amin, and British passport holders were asked to leave, we decided to come to the UK because we had UK British passports. And then from there on, my dad actually went to India, but we stayed here. And so the three of us as refugees, we actually made our home in Luton. And I'm very proud to say that Luton is my home. I've been here for 50 years. And I have actually gone all the way through getting a job and also being a manager in BT, in computing, to being head of HR for London Luton Airport, now running my own business and writing the book. But it's also about, women in my family who over the generations on my mum's side have actually achieved a lot in their own way. And people who read my book, even men, have said that it actually connected them with their own journeys and on their families and their mums and grandmothers and so on. So that's all about life, and that's me. And you might say, what's about the red thread? Well, the Indian red thread, you might have seen a lot of men and women wearing red thread like that on the right wrist. You might quite often see an Indian man or Asian man wearing that. And that is basically sister and brother festival, where the sister ties the red thread on the brother's wrist for his safekeeping, for his protection. But what now is happening is that, it is also a red thread of connection. So it's quite a lot of that goes on, and you can tie a red thread on anybody you want to protect. So there's quite a lot of mixture of things in my book, and well, I hope if you want to buy it, which will be lovely, and I would sign the copies here if anybody wants to buy it. It will be my pleasure, and it's been lovely to be here and see some familiar faces, some from the past and suddenly reconnected. And some new, but it's all been great. So thank you very much. Oh yeah, sure. Sure, if anybody's got a question, hopefully I can answer it. But I'll be outside anyway for the rest of the afternoon if anybody wants to come. I think Dee's got a question.
You're not Bina, sorry. My question for you, you said that you're in HR?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, well I say obviously, but in the current climate now with regards to women in the workplace, do you have a lot of work on?
Yeah.
What sort of, what's maybe your top?
At the moment, I think pandemic has thrown a lot of kind of balls up in the air, as it were. And with the hybrid working, people working from home, people coming into work, but also a lot of things like well-being has come into the equation about mental health. But most importantly, I think people have realized that women are doing just as much work as men, if not more, and that they have to work doubly hard to prove to be anywhere in the working environment. And so there is a movement at the moment for women to be recognized for who they are, what they are, and making sure that that is my most favorite subject for women, young women, girls, and anybody, and not even just that, even older women. I'm ancient, I'm totally ancient, probably oldest here, but I love to tell women, girls, boys, that look, if I can be where I am with nothing when I came to this country, and that was got decades ago, you guys have got everything going for you. Go for it, reach for the stars, reach for the moon. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. Just focus, 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 and look out for people who can help you on the way. There's lots of people out there who can help you, your family, friends, people out in the businesses, and sometimes very unknown areas where women, whoever, they will be suddenly there. As long as you really want that desire in your heart and you want to go for something, just go. And that's what I would say.